Hey, how's it going, everybody? Sinful Duck here, and we are back on ESO. It's been a long time. I've taken a good long break, but I've been back playing the game now for the last couple of months, and I gotta tell you, it's actually been a lot of fun. The meta for the game still isn't quite where I would like it to be. We're in an extremely tanky proc damage meta, but if you play the game, you already know that. I decided to actually change things up a bit, and I'm actually maining a Magicka Warden right now. And I am having a blast. I am loving the Warden. I do have to give a little bit of a shout out to somebody that turned me on to a set that I was previously kind of unaware of, but I'll link to their channel down in the description. But it's a gentleman by the name of NirnStorm. A lot of you guys probably know about him. But I stumbled across one of his videos at some point and saw him using the Ice Furnace set, which just seemed like a great fit for the Magic Warden, and gave it a try, and I'm really enjoying it. There are things you can use in place of that if you want to. You don't have to use the Ice Furnace. This build will work just fine without it, but let's dive into it. Since I know most of you guys come here just to see what gear I'm running, we'll start with that. So here it is. I am running, as I said, the Ice Furnace set. Running one piece of Scoria because we are in 5 heavy here. So penetration can be difficult to come by. So we are running 5 heavy. We're running 1 Scoria for that extra penetration. And the second set is Toryg's Pact. Any of you guys that have followed my channel for any period of time, you know Toryg's Pact is probably my favorite and most used set. And I gotta tell you, it's on another level with the Magic Warden. So the Magicka Warden gets a 10% increase to frost and magic damage, which is fantastic when it comes to Toryg's Pact because, as you can see here, the frost enchant is huge. It's nearly 8k, but that doesn't take into account Malakath's Band of Brutality. So I did run this as infused with magic recovery because, you know, you got to have some recovery. And actually all my jewelry pieces are recovery at the moment. So this one is infused because I use it on some other builds that require infused, but the Toryg's Pact jewelry that I have is arcane. But this thing, it's an 8k tooltip, and then you get Malakath's on top of that. When you go out and actually test it, so, you know, over penetrating on a mob so that you can actually see what the real damage from this is, I want to say it's somewhere around 9600 is what this hits for. So basically a 9600 tooltip enchant. That is absolutely crazy. And the biggest reason I love Toryg's Pact, it's one of the few sets that's both offensive and defensive. So it's obviously it's offensive because you get this huge enchant damage. You also, on your back bar, can get 655 spell damage, which is fantastic as well. But it's defensive in the fact that the 2-3-4 is just armor and health. So it fits really nice with the playstyle of the Warden at the moment, where you want to stack lots of armor and you want to stack lots of health because your heals are all based on health. So yeah, this actually synergizes really, really well on the Warden, far better than it did on the Nightblade, I think. As I said before, you don't have to use Ice Furnace. You can actually put Toryg's Pact on the body and craft it in heavy if you want to do that. And then you can use other sets like Necropotence works really well for the Warden. Yeah, so you can swap that out. I'm not going to go through and show you every single piece. You can mix and match the two sets however you see fit. There's no reason for me to mouse over everything. Anyway, let's go ahead and jump into the CP real quick here and just kind of get that out of the way. I'm gonna just go through them real fast. You can pause the video and take a look if you're curious as to what I got going on. All right, there we go. Now we are back on our skill bar here. So I'm just real quick again, I'm going to talk briefly about some synergies of the skills, but I'm not going to go over what every skill does at this point. You guys probably know the skills. If you do have questions about anything, make sure you leave them down in the comments. I'll try and respond to whatever I can. So let's take a look here. First up, we have Force Pulse. I'm using this morph over the other for one simple reason. If you're fighting outnumbered, right now we have Ice Furnace on. Ice Furnace does an AoE of fire damage. And that AoE of fire damage has the chance of proccing burning on several targets. And with this morph, if that burn procs on the target, Force Pulse becomes an AoE as well. And for a good amount of damage, I mean, they're going to take, with what we're sitting at here, this is obviously kind of unbuffed, but 8250 magic damage. That's pretty good damage. So this combined with Ice Furnace has a good chance of becoming an AoE, and that is why I'm using Force Pulse over Crushing Shock here. We've got Deep Fissure, which gives us more pen and some nice burst. Fetcher Infection, I like having this just to keep a little bit of constant pressure, and at 11,000 over 10 seconds, it's pretty good damage. Our ultimate here, Northern Storm. So something interesting about Northern Storm is a lot of people feel like when you use Northern Storm, they feel like all they have to do is get out of the circle. Just don't stand in the circle and your ultimate is wasted, which couldn't be farther from the truth. So if they decide to stand in the circle, obviously all the better. But if they do run and they get out of your circle and continue fighting from range, that's fine. If you can't close that gap on them, not a big deal, because Northern Storm increases your max Magicka by 15%. So that's actually a huge amount of damage that gets added to your skills. So don't feel like you have to chase everyone down with Northern Storm. Just use that 15% max Magicka to your benefit. And also the fact that it gets people to get off you. All right, let's hop onto the back bar. Back bar, I am using a Frost Staff. You can use Resto if you want, but I'll show you why I chose the Frost Staff. Arctic Blast. So this is why you want to stack your health. I'm sure you guys all know about it, but we're using Arctic Blast. Crystallized Slab. I am using this morph over the ultimate generating morph for one simple reason. This deals damage. I like damage. On a Warden, you get your ultimate back pretty fast as is, but this is nice because it launches out a bolt of frost damage. And when that hits, it also procs Ice Furnace. So you're kind of double dipping into your damage set again, which is really good. So even if someone's at range, they're still getting hit by your set, even if you're not focusing on them. All right, so Frost Clench. This is the reason why I like to run the Frost Staff. You can use this to lock people down. It's not a hard CC, obviously, but it's better than having kind of no CC. But it's nice to lock people down, get them to waste stamina by dodge rolling, and you control when they dodge roll because of that, which is nice. You can hit them with this and lock them down, and then get close to them with Arctic Blast to get the hard stun off. So it kind of works in combination, because Arctic Blast it's really hard to actually land that as a CC. Frost Clench makes that a bit easier. Leeching Vines. So I'm using Leeching Vines over Living Trellis here because if I'm spamming a heal, I don't want it to be the vines in this setup, right? So this costs $25.92. This costs more for sure. However, it's a much bigger heal. The Living Trellis gives, oh, what does it give there? 39.50 roughly. You can see down at the bottom of that morph, roughly 39.50. And this is 9350. So for a little bit more Magicka, you get a much larger heal plus the hot. But it's nice to put it up. It works kind of like a damage reduction. As soon as you get hit, you get health back. So it works very similarly to like a damage reduction. And then you also apply minor lifesteal to anybody that hits you. So this is actually, if you're running in a duo, a small group, anything like that, heck, even if you're in a large group, this is benefiting everybody, because if someone hits you, they get minor lifesteal. And you can even put this on people in your group. So you can get that minor lifesteal spread out on all your enemy targets, so that as your team does damage, they're all getting benefit from that. Backbar ultimate, I've got Healing Thicket. It's nice to have a defensive ultimate, I think. And for the Warden, I don't know. It's not amazing, but I feel like it's pretty good. It's probably the strongest defensive ultimate that we've got here. So yeah, we're running that since we're not running Resto. If you do decide to run Resto, I would suggest running the Resto ultimate instead of this. But for this setup that I've got here, we're running Healing Thicket. Anyway, that's the build. Please give this a thumbs up if it helped you out, because doing that really helps me out. So I appreciate it. Let me know down below if you have any questions or comments about the build, and enjoy the clips that are coming up here. And until next time, guys, take it easy. Ooh, one last thing before I go. I've got some pretty entertaining videos here in mind that we're going to be putting together soon. So make sure you subscribe and keep an eye out, because I think you guys are going to enjoy it. See ya.